You come to me on this day, asking for a woodworking project video, but you show me no respect. You don't even call me Godfather. Someday, and that day may never come, I will call upon you to do a service for me. Something like subscribe to my YouTube channel. But until that day, enjoy the video.
I'll be using a 1/4 inch trim router to carve the design. This is a Katsu router which is really cheap but a brilliant router. I'll leave a link where you can get it in the description. I made a larger base for it which makes it a lot more stable and easier to control. The bit I'll be using is an SC50 bit. It tapers to a very fine point so I can get some very fine detail into the design. Again, links in the description to where you can get it. I had a panel of redwood that I glued up a while ago that was perfect for this project. I printed off the Godfather movie poster onto some self-adhesive paper and then stuck it onto the wood. To get the fine detail, I set the bit to about 3mm deep. Of course, the deeper the cut, the more of the bit that will be revealed, and the larger the line that you produce. I started by routing the outline to the letters. As you can see, the wider base with the handles makes it a lot easier to control the router. Take your time with it, you'll start to get a feel for how the bit cuts through the wood, and then you'll be able to compensate for the way it pulls. At a shallow depth like this, the pull is minute really, but in dense grain you can start to feel it. I find it easier to work towards myself. I can see the line easier and I get a smoother motion that way. Working away from myself often hides my line and it's guesswork for where I should be cutting. I use the same technique to outline and create a buffer zone on the rest of the piece. Switching to a standard flat straight bit, I remove the material around the areas I carved. Make sure you work from the middle out. You want to make sure the base is supported at all times. You don't want to get to the middle and remove the material that's supporting the router. The quickest way to remove the self-adhesive paper is with a heat gun. A hairdryer works too. Just apply the heat to the paper and it peels right off. With that done, I can cut out the piece from the panel using the bandsaw. Now for some painting. I use regular acrylic paint. It doesn't bleed into the wood grain and covers really well with one coat. It sands off really easy too. I make sure to get in all the areas I carved. Don't worry about getting it on the surface of the raised sections, it'll be sanded off later. After leaving it to dry for a couple of hours, I sanded it off by hand. You can of course use a powered sander, but with such a small area like this I prefer the control by hand. Any areas you catch by accident can be touched up with paint later on. The design starts to be revealed and really comes to life with a black background. To stain the rose on the design, I use Man's redwood dye, links below to where you can find it. You could of course use food colouring or even watered down paint. I have been wanting to give the coloured stains a try though, and they do work really well. When the stain was dry, I gave it a light sanding and then gave it a clear coat of lacquer. I added a keyhole hanger to the back so it could be hung on the wall, and that's it, done.
So that's it then guys, a nice simple project, I think you'll agree. This technique can really be applied to any design you like, as I'm sure you can imagine, so I hope you've been inspired by this. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Don't forget to leave a comment, I answer all of them. Share it around with your friends, subscribe, click the bell icon to get notifications, all that good stuff. I'm going to put some links up on the screen here and here, and these are just some of my other videos, you might find them interesting. So that's it then guys, thanks again for watching.